Okay, I'm back. Don't have to, no need to fear, I have returned to here. What am I doing? Alright, so just trying to fix my auto initialize, which hasn't been. I'm trying to get it so that if my database is empty, it'll initialize it. So first deploy, basically. I just don't want the first deployment to be broken, which is because it's never going to happen after the first time. Once this has actually got data in the database, this will never ever happen again. But every first deploy of every source table has to have something in it. So again, so basically, maybe I do have to put this in. I was trying to think. It doesn't really break when the first one comes back, so I was thinking maybe it'd be fine, but maybe it's okay. It's reading the nulls fine, but if it doesn't actually come back with any situations, and again, once there's data in there, the format and everything is already defined, so we're generally good to go. So there's this little. All right, so let's see if I can throw in a dummy record here. Maybe. And we will stick this, I guess, right on top of that one. And it's not necessarily better. It looks the same as this one. All right, let's see. We go go run dot. So currently the problem is when I run my coaching profile, I get this error: offense, defense, no properties defined. It should still load. It just be empty. That's what I'm expecting to happen. Oops, it didn't actually build it. In theory, if this actually works, this will load up as an empty thing, because it's not going to find, I don't think it's going to find anything worth doing anything with. Okay, there we go. Now this is the absolute default. I am curious though, what'll happen if I use a different ID, because I'm using the same user ID 123, I think. Well, no, I guess it found nothing. It didn't find. What's it got for user ID? Well, the user ID initializes regardless. And so we just need to have a dummy situation come with it. And that's kind of what we got. We got a basic dummy situation that's going to load up. What's going to end up happening, though, is I'm going to have a default. game plan, that when you load it up, it's going to have some very basic game plan stuff in it. And maybe I'll just create it here. But either way, it's going to be a setup where you're able to define exactly what you want happening during a play. And you can... I was thinking it'd be very limited as to the quantities of situations, but perhaps you set up an entire play. But one of the things you will not be able to do is set exactly the play. In other words, you say a favored play, it increases your odds that that play might get called, but it does not guarantee it. You could set the odds to where they're pretty dang good if you set your preferred play types, because favored plays have a chance to come up in all 4 slots. So they're there. So you're always got a minimum of a 25% chance. 25% chance if it's one of the plays, it's actually going to be higher than that, because it gets a certain set percentage in selection. So let's say your favorite play is, say you have what happens first is the preferred play type is going to have a percentage. So preferred play type says run middle. So you got a 50% chance in that first slot to get a run middle. Now, if your favorite play has to be synced with the play type. So if you pick a different favored play, which would be kind of goofy because you have a certain play type, but it doesn't allow you to. So if you have play type selected, you have to pick a favored play, and it's going to go the same way. Basically, your play type is going to be in sync with your favorite play. It's just the way it's going to work. So if you try to select just a favorite play, your preferred play type will set according to your favorite play, because that's what it's expecting you to pull. So your first selection will be, the percentage of play out of all your plays, got a super high percent chance of that first one being one of your preferred play types, with favorite play getting a percentage of whatever's of those plays selected. Second, preferred play type gets a lower percentage chance. So these are higher opportunities than like a normal straight across selection. Like if you put nothing in there, all plays, all things have an equal chance, not counting special teams. No, you're not going to accidentally kick a punt on the first down. But there is a chance of any other play almost. So you're going to get an opportunity to set these up the way you want it. Now, favorite play 1 and 2, there are actually 4 plays that can be selected. And may even be 6. I've noticed that you could kind of do 6. I noticed I wasn't sure if there'd be enough real estate space. That's why I was going with 4. But maybe 6 will be an option. But if you're controlling your own, I'm going to let you're allowed to go to the playbook. But remember, you only got time. If you're controlling your own plays, you have to make your selection in 20 seconds. This is not going to be one of those games you can sit there and just hem and haw. That's not how football works. You have to pick a play in the 20 seconds that your time is allowed. And there will be a clock ticking. Tick, 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 tick. And what's going to happen is you get about 20 seconds to pick your play. If you don't pick it in that time, you'll probably get now your guys have to get to the line. So if you don't pick it in the 20 seconds, they won't get to the line in time. So if you take 25, the clock doesn't technically run out, but your guys won't get to the line in time. It'll be past. And maybe you can get away with it if your formation is exactly the same, so the players already know where they're going. But if you choose anything that's outside of the ordinary, your guys won't be able to set up, and they will get delay of game penalties, such as the way it goes. All right, so let's try to get. I have my plays now. The playbook now loads. It does seem that my my place, let's actually check some stuff in first. So I got this to load with a default if there's nothing in it. So let's go ahead and stop this. And yeah, let's go ahead and stop this. Let's go. I'm going to go put some stuff into my sprint. I need to put stuff in my sprint just so I know what I'm working on. I don't have anything in my sprint yet, but I do know what I want to be in my sprint. This is a, this is not, this, let's see, can I add another sprint here? Can I add a date? Start date. We're going to set this one to start date last week. Actually, it can't even be last week. How about this? Let's start it right here, and then we're going to end it just to have an ending sprint. Oh, I want this to be a custom duration sprint. No. I want this to be a special sprint. No, not 123. 1.6. Why can't I select 1.6? You can't set them in the past. Okay. What about, can I set it to 1.7? Oh, that's January. March, February. Oh, that is, no, that's right. Why can't I set this to a different day? Huh. Interesting. All right. Well, I guess I can't change it. I'm kind of stuck. I thought maybe I could create a custom one just for the current time frame. Apparently, the answer to that is no. Add from backlog. We're going to go to my. Let's go to the game plan. And boy, I don't have game situations. I need to get some stuff in here. Offense game situation, defense game situation. We need to do a special teams game situation and miscellaneous, but I don't have that to work on yet. So let's go add some things to my sprint. I got to add some items to my my game plan. Which means I gotta add, should I probably epic playbooks? Let's do that. Man, I haven't even gotten a playbook in here. I mean, I started developing it, but I don't have it in here. Epic playbooks. And then the playbooks will have, the playbooks need a couple of things. One, we need to create microservice. Microservice. And that's a home PBI function. PBI. This one actually, surprisingly enough, is pretty much done. I've created the microservice. It's functional. It's there. Is that task type? Task. Okay. And this one's pretty much done. I have got it fully functionally and created and ready for development. So it's in development review. We'll call it testing. So that we also need a function PBI. Load function PBI save function PBI React UI. That's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be really interesting how I set that up. I don't know how that's going to look or anything right now. I feel like I can do it though. I'm going to try. That's going to be a big one. Might be the biggest piece of this. Creating a microservice that has the load and the save for the playbook. This is the playbook. Do I the playbook? Yeah, playbook. The playbook by itself doesn't have much. It's just the plays. I mean, really, it's all it is. You're creating a play. The playbook is what you're referencing. You have an idea. It's kind of like the game plan, which has a bunch of situations and other stuff in it. But you have multiple playbooks, but the playbooks are, you know, different set of plays. So it's React UI. These guys, I don't know why those are in here, but these ones actually are. We're going to set those status to, oh wait, not that one. I'm going to set the status on these to InDesign. Sure. So we got it. We got our plays. We can load them. We can save them. React UI should probably just be. Actually, I should probably say React UI load. Save. And this one will be edit. Now, edit's the big one. Actually, do I want to be edit? Do I want to be able to edit them, or can I be good with just creating them? Okay. We'll say edit. And we'll say create. There you go. Create, edit, and save, and load. So these are all of the React parts. We also will need Android versions of all of these as well. But I might actually change that. Let's change this. Let's go here. We'll say rename feature microservice playbook microservice, and then we're going to go here, create another list. Oh, are these supposed to be folders too? I don't know you have folders inside of folders. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter, but I don't know, you got a list. Huh. Alright. Feature. And this will be Android UI. And feature. React UI. These are the only parts, by the way, that are actually going to be, and it's only because React is kind of my default face, because I haven't got any. It's because that's what I have started in. No particular reason. Unity is going to be my Android UI, and I have to start working in that area pretty soon too. But I've got to start working on the different UIs at a point, you know. So what I'll probably do is start assembling something that looks pretty similar in Android, with eventually upgrading it to, you know, actually utilizing the Unity engine. I don't think I'll be using a lot of it at first. So let's go ahead and take this one. this one and this one. We'll drag those over here. Alright, so, oh, that one's also one. So we got save and load, and yeah, that's pretty much all we need is a save and a load. I'm trying to think if there's any functions, things that have to do some logic on its own. Really, no. The coaching profile will have, the coach logic will have some function. The run plays will have functions. But I'm thinking the playbooks don't have anything. They're just a data input output kind of thing. So you'll create it, you'll throw it into the playbook and play, and it'll get fetched as necessary. Game situations are mostly just an input output data. But function and logic come in how things are going to be simulated in time. And also there's things that are going to have to calculate eventually. I'm trying yet to decide if I want my playbook, my plays to be their own logic. I don't think they need it. They're just going to have a lot of display and data information. I don't see any reason why you couldn't just have, because really all you're doing is passing it up. But the play is just going to have a lot of stuff. And I wonder if it'd be good to associate when you're looking at a play. What I might do is have a UI version and a list mode. Graphic and list mode. I really don't like list mode, but if people want it, maybe give it to them. You could do certain things. You can look at how graphic mode is obviously going to be less efficient, but it's going to look a lot better. That's my thought. List mode is just going to drop things out. It's going to let you do cool manipulations, I guess, you know, sortings, that kind of thing. Maybe they do have some logic, because the plays have to know what their success rate is, and that's a calculation. So when I load the play, maybe I have to load the success rates, which means it has to calculate the load rate, success rates. But does it calculate them on the fly? Or do we calculate that in advance to keep things simple? I'm also trying to decide. So we have all the plays in the system are going to have their own database. Their own. Do we want them in their own container? So let's say something happens and we end up with 10 million downloads, and say 1 million of them, all right, what's realistic? What's a realistic active user number? If you've got 10 million, I doubt you're probably more than a few thousand active at any time, right? Let me see. Let's see how smart AIs can be. Let's see what kind of information they have available to them. In a game, in an Android game with 10 million downloads and about My game won't have 10 million downloads, but I'm just trying to see about what they have. In an Android game with 10 million downloads and 6 months on market minimum, what is a typical number of active users? Let's see. It's probably going to go, I have no idea, man. That's like out of my range. The number of active users in an Android game with 10 million downloads and a minimum of 6 months on the market can vary widely depending on several factors, including the game's genre, engagement, mechanics, blah, blah, blah. Key metrics to consider. Retention rates. Day 1 retention is 30 to 40% is typical for successful games. Day 7 retention around 10 to 20% for most games. Day 30 retention often falls to 5 to 10% or lower. Ooh, okay. So if you're like looking, so you're not gonna have to, all right, so let's say 1 million downloads, and that's still a lot. I'm probably being way over. Let's actually go 100,000 downloads. That might be possible in 30 days. But if you're looking at 30 days, that means day 1, you might be what, 1,000, 2,000 downloads? That's probably really optimistic. So you got 1,000, let's say 2,000 downloads at after day 30. Those first people, you're probably sitting somewhere. Let's say you get 100,000 in the first month. Day 1 retention, I think you're probably looking at a day 7 average, so at least 20% down. So you're looking at maybe 400 people at best at any active time during the first month. If there's significant growth and things go really well for you, for 10 million downloads, this translates to 1.5% of total downloads for games that are reasonably engaging. For 10 million downloads, this translates to approximately 100,000 to 500,000 daily active users. Yeah, that's pretty good, but I think it's more like my best guess is at a tenth of that, we're looking at 10,000 to 50,000, but more realistically, probably 100th of that, which is probably going to bring that down to about 1,000 to 5,000 active users at the peak. And that's probably really being optimistic because this is a genre that's middling at best. So we got 1,000 to 5,000 users. It's probably never going to be all that much data it's got to pull. I think the numbers, I think a successful football game is not the same as like a football, or not football, but a successful, what do you call it, like gotcha game. It's just too many gotcha games out there. But there's a successful gotcha game. The premise of a gotcha game is interesting. And for me, it loses me pretty quick. I mean, I played them for 3 to, I think I just hit 170 days on Watcher of Realms. It's the first, I want to say it's the first gotcha game I've ever played, and it's not the last. I played others, but it's the only one that's gotten anywhere near that kind of time out of me. It's the only one that's ever got that kind of time out of me. I've done others that have gotten a few days, a few weeks. I played Marvel Strike Force. That one had me for a little bit. But ultimately, they just lose me because the whole premise of a gacha game is kind of weird. It's cool to get the characters. It's fun to build, but it's just something feels off about, I don't know, I think it's something about building a character and getting to connect to the character. Maybe that's just me. I like a character you can just enjoy building and making them better and always being able to use them and just getting something to grow. Maybe that's what I don't like about gacha games, is because typically you're constantly changing your guys and you're really just coming down to trying to figure out who your guys are, and a lot of times you need new guys. You can't just connect to anything. You might like one, but maybe he's not so good half the time, and he can't really get that much better. I want to build, like I said, I already have it in design, an adventure game. I want to call it an AFK game. It is an AFK game. Very much an AFK game. Super AFKE. And that's going to be my next project. Probably even, I might even start it in simultaneous with this one. Just so that I can have two things going at once. As I learn enough with this one, I may actually start working on the other one too. Maybe I'll start alternating progress reports. I don't know. Because problem with that one is I'm going to need some significant graphical assistance just for prettiness. Because that's going to be a lot more prettiness required. It's a thing about those kind of games. But you know, maybe I'll get something going. I don't know. I think there's plenty of models out there I can use. I don't really want to use other people's stuff, but there's something. I can come up with something. Do I want it to be... Yeah, I don't know. I think I have a great idea for a game though. And of course, who doesn't, right? Everybody thinks their games are great. So until it's out and somebody else goes, "Hey, this is a great game," then you've made it, right? So, all right. So he wants me to prefer a response. Let's see. Well, I do like key metrics to consider: the number of active users in Android gaming. This is kind of saying the same thing. Monthly active users, MAU, and DAO, daily active users. I like this industry averages. Factors affecting active user count. Exceptional cases. For a hit game with strong engagement strategies. But again, we're talking about millions and millions of downloads. I don't think I'm ever going to have that with this game. If I had to pick, I think they say the same thing, right? I don't know. I guess if I was going to say I prefer that one. All right, let's go back to it. So, my goal is to kind of make it appealing to like kids. A game manager, a football manager is not going to be appealing to kids. But I also want mine to be appealing to those that are really into the minutia. So I want a kid to be able to load this game up. It looks cool because tell you what, there's more kids playing games on Androids or on phones than you think. Being able to have them say, "Oh, I want to play football with my favorite team or with the team with cool characters," and that's going to be the game. But anybody else could also load it up and play it and know that these characters are based on true life players, and they could load it up and simulate through, and they could pick their mode where the game will just do all the other stuff. It'll run their draft picks. It'll do all the stuff. If the kid don't want to do it, they don't have to. And you can, and maybe you could even toggle. I don't know. It's weird because I've seen a lot of these games. I would like to be able to figure out a way to set up the game. Because, like, okay, so if you're a streamer and you just want to show stuff, you want to demo things, I think I want to figure out a way to provide that option. I want to figure that out. Let's put that in my, let's put that in as an epic. Let's go an epic, and we'll call it a proposal, because it's not a fixed thing, but I want to say epic. streamer slash demo modes. And this one we'll rename to sim only mode. And then we'll also add a list for, call it a feature, and we will call it draft mode. So basically, you can go to these different modes, and you don't have to do what I like when I want to show something in a game or show off how a game does something. You have to like start up a game, and you have to go through all the stuff. you have to work your way through. But if all you want to do is certain things, you can just go to it. And what it'll do is it'll like zip you through to that. You know, you let you skip all the other stuff. It's for the major modes. Obviously, if you want to get into the minutia, you won't be able to do that. But these are like for just showing off features. And maybe it's even good for me, so I can just like load up a draft mode, load up a sim mode, load up a play game plan mode. I think it'll be good for me. Oops. Yeah, that's fine. For demoing. And I gotta create, I've gotta create, oh man, what did I do? I didn't want to do that. We're gonna go, I wish I could change this thing to a status. I really want to give this a status, but alas, I cannot. So can you do like lists within lists within lists, or do you have to do folders? Can I like, what if I had done this? I can do a list. So I could have done a list within list within list. Or can you not do lists and lists and lists? I think you might not. I think there's a limit to how many nested lists you can do. I'm gonna try something. Oh, there it is. That is a list. That is limit. Okay, you can only do one. You can only do one list inside of a folder. But you can probably do folders in folders, but folders can't be set. Can't have a status. So yeah, that's the drawback to that, I guess. Add description. Wait, I thought there was an add description. What did I just see? I swore I just saw an add description. Oh, here it is. Setup on draft day. And because I'm not sure what I think about the whole having to sim through an entire league. You know, sim through this piece, sim through that piece, sim through that piece. I don't know what I think about that. I feel like it's clunky. If you don't want to play certain parts, you don't have to, but you can say, what I'm thinking is, a game, let's see, what do I have game modes in here? There's franchise mode. Something's thumping, thumping, thumping upstairs. So we've got our streamer / demo modes, but I also think I'm going to change this one to go rename. I'm going to call this league modes. And of those, expansion team, oh, maybe each kind of mode will have to be its own. Nah, that's true. I think it's too much to expect to break that down that way. So we're going to call this franchise mode. I think I will have different mode selections because these are different modes. These are like demo mode might be something you select when you're picking your and then we're going to have, then I'm going to have another one here. We're going to go list, no, folder. We're going to go epic. And we're going to go career mode. Now career mode, do I have any descriptions? I don't even have that. Can I go to this? Is there a way to set up a descriptions on any of these? Franchise mode. Nope. How do I click on it? Can I add a description anywhere? Recent docs, bookmark, resources. List view, board, Gantt, timeline, workload. Add card. I don't really want view. I just want a description. Can I add a description? Oh, here we go. Franchise mode. Maybe. Maybe it'll let me add something here. If it feels so inclined. How much caffeine is in a Rockstar? 200. Well, it's less than the monsters I have. They're 250. So it's like if I'm gonna get myself overly caffeinated. All right, here we go. Franchise mode is the most advanced complex mode with all game management features. What is that? Table. Wow, I can put all kinds of stuff in here. Cool. All right, that's cool, but I'm not doing it right now. I think that's cool, but I want to make sure that, let's see, that's saved. Okay, it's saved. And then we got to have our other modes. Got to have, what did I say? Demo mode. Let's go here. And then we'll go up here. Streamer, demo modes. A selection of options to go directly to certain features in the game with default settings that make up meant specifically for demoing game. About bulleted list, limited user access, simulation, and draft, and play game plan, editor, and I don't know, other options. Training option, trainer option. All right, that's good enough for now. All right, so I need to have a mode for career. Now, career is going to be one that focuses less on all the other minutia, but you focus on the players. That's what I'm thinking. So it's going to be epic career mode. And that one is going to be less advanced options. All the options surrounding players. Salaries. I don't know. Maybe. Actually, that's it. Less advanced options. All the options surrounding gameplay and players only. Well, we'll just say bulleted number again, numbered list, bulleted list. We're going to say no park management, no coaching management, no salary, negotiation. custom player with custom career. Oh, did I already have a career mode? Oops. So we'll go back up here and change this one. This one's just going to be a single season mode. All right, we're going to call it single season mode. Just get in the game. Player trading, no salaries, no salary, negotiation, no hiring, no firing, no facilities management. And it could be more stuff. I just want to get a mode where people can just place things in, whatever. And maybe I'll even allow some stuff, or maybe I even create a mode which is the or have the leagues be modal. You have all the functions and features available, but then you just allow people to turn on and off what they want. Nothing. They can take away all the advanced features they want. Now, the only things you can't really adjust is the game plan, game situation stuff. That you can do all the time. You can use what's default if you don't really want to mess with it. There's no reason why you can't. But if you just want to get in the game and say minimal of everything, everybody will be able to just fiddle with their game plan. That's always a possibility. So there's nothing stopping you from doing that. So yeah. Let's go with, can I create a folder? I want to call one called game modes. Going to create that. Let's see if I can just drop a bunch of stuff into game modes. I don't know what it'll do, but let's see. I want to group these so they're a little less clunky. I can just read them. Let's see what this does. Oh, I guess not. I was hoping I could put it inside. Nope. Nope. I guess you can't add game modes. You can't add folders to other folders. Okay. I was hoping that would have been a way to group these together. What if I move it? Can I move it? Move. Nope. Nope. You can only move it to the space. Okay, so yeah. All right, so I can't do game modes. I wanted to have something where I can sort all these out. So we'll get rid of that. Yeah, that's fine. come I can't delete it? All right, fine. Let me do that. Delete. How come I can't delete it? That's dumb. All right, what if I go here now? Why can't? Oh, I have to actually type it. Game modes. All right, I don't need that. I don't need that nonsense. All right. Maybe I put mode first, at least alphabetically it'll show up. I can put them all together this way. Franchise mode, career mode, single season mode. I have, maybe I have to think about what that entails. Maybe I just allow people. Thing is, I want to have a version where it's just simple. Maybe there's a mode selector and you can pick the modes or you can just customize it. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Yes. And it'll show you all the options that you're getting and not getting. And you can just go, you can pick your modes and maybe have, like the simplest version will be the thing that you can just play out the gate. Like if a kid came along and didn't want to mess with the settings, he could just open the game, play a quick game, play a season, do whatever. They're just going to have whatever he has. But then if he wants to get more into the weeds, you can go into the mode selector, and the mode selector will let you pick more advanced stuff. That I kind of like. I think that might be the best way to go. Yeah. Yes, I'm thinking that's the best way. Mode, we'll call it epic. Game mode. Game mode custom. We're going to go here, and then we will add to my description. We're going to add this. We're going to add general options at the top. Franchise, league, franchise, career, and simple leagues. Simple custom leagues. Each of the basic options will select, deselect, various features of the game. Custom will allow you to create your own league settings. Enabling, disabling, whatever features we want to use. There we go. There we go. And all these are not actually in the current playbook, in the current plan. All the stuff at the top here is my current plan. But as I get features and stuff going, I gotta keep adding them down and slowly adding and getting them programmed. All right, so I have my game plan. I have to get that loading and initializing. so that I can go ahead and try to load it, which means starting to create a... you know what I'm going to have to do is start moving into my React app again. These top two epics, those have to get done this month. And I keep... And then I am working on the game simulator logic, which is right now I get play execution, coach component. Oh, and game plan is up here. Why can't I go above? There you go. I need to get... Game plan is kind of crucial right now. And also, oh, the coach component. Game plan has to be working before the coach component can actually do its job. So I probably have to do this first. I'd really like to get this going, but I need a game plan to load. Wait, well, actually my game plan is loading, but I need the playbook. Oh. I need a playbook to work. Game situations is already kind of loading. It's not 100%, but it's no longer a requirement for me to get the first feature, the first set of functionality I want. So game plan's fine. I got situations working, or at least they're loading. I need playbooks now to work so that I can get to the simulation logic, which is going to allow my coach component and my play execution to work. So I need my playbooks in place, which is playbook microservice. I have Android. I have to go in here now and add the feature for creating plays, which is actually a pretty big one. So what I need to do is break that down some. We're going to go... actually a pretty big one. I got the React UI. I got the load. I guess actually these are the big ones. These are what make it big. It's actually the creating the bits that are going to fire in React. So, what do I need this second? I was thinking I needed player stats in the database, but ultimately I don't yet need that. I will need that as part of this thing though. Save load game state, which is partially... Oh no, that's not doing... Oh, that's a different thing. Okay, so we're going to go here. We're going to add a new list. This one is going to be feature load player stats. Player stats. Sure. Now I'm wondering if I should have a player microservice. question is, what will the player microservice do? Okay, so we have, you can view yeah, I probably need a player microservice. Yeah, I'm thinking I need a player service because it's going to do a lot of stuff. It's going to load data. It's going to load all the stats. It's going to save. It's not going to save. Very little saving with the player stats. That's all engine driven. But there's going to be a fair amount of logic, like maybe even how it executes plays. But do we? It's going to hold all the stats for the player. So we fetch a player, we get its stats, we read and act on it. But we can add and remove stats to the player service. I'm just trying to think how my play execution is going to work. I gotta look at something. Let's go here and say in a sports game simulation, executed by Unity, graphics engine. If the logic of each play were to run on the server, how would the progress of the play most efficiently be passed to the Unity mobile application? Would it, if the play is in 16th of a second segments, do we send them to Unity as they run, or create a log or data set in memory and pass that to Unity to process all at once? Yeah, but see, I'm worried about this whole running it all at once thing. Enabling smooth animations and keeping the game visually aligned with server computations. Suitable for multiplayer scenarios where real-time synchronization is critical. Smaller payloads. Only the data for the current frame is sent, reducing memory overhead on both the server and client. High network overhead. Frequent updates can result in high bandwidth usage, especially for a large number of players. Increased chances of packet loss or latency spikes, which could disrupt smooth playback on the client side. Requires mechanisms to handle delayed or lost packets, such as interpolation or prediction. See, I don't like this because I feel like it's just a play. It runs in like 4 seconds. You kind of want it all to happen all at once. And there's no interference because you're not playing the game. You run the play, it's a simulation. So, server processes the entire play and sends a single data set or log at the end, significantly reducing network traffic. Easier to manage data consistency since all relevant data is sent in one package. Unity only needs to parse and render the dataset with no concerns about synchronization, interpolation, or packet loss. And I think since it's already saved the results of the play, you don't have to worry about losing anything. The client sees the play only after it completes, potentially leading to a less engaging user experience, especially in competitive scenarios. Not ideal for multiplayer games requiring real-time interactivity. This is not real-time though. It's a simulation, so you probably wouldn't even notice it. Hybrid approach, the best of both worlds. Initial real-time updates, key events. The server sends periodic updates for critical events, pass, tackle, or significant position changes every few frames, e.g. every 4th or 8th frame. These updates allow Unity to show real-time progress without needing 16 updates per second. If you do it every 4th frame, it's about 4 seconds. Yeah, I'm just worried about network processing. At the end of the play, the server sends a complete dataset or log for accurate playback or replay purposes. Unity can use this to refine animations or display detailed statistics after the play. Use a compact protocol buffers or JSON to transmit data efficiently. Structured data hierarchy to differentiate critical updates from detailed data logs. Compress datasets to reduce bandwidth usage, especially for large logs or datasets. Error handling. Testing and tuning. Test both approaches under real-world network conditions to determine the optimal frequency and payload size. Tune update intervals dynamically based on network performance. I guess if you're writing Unity to just run whatever you send it, whatever the package size is, be it the whole log or none, it should be able to process all of them as a log or process them all as a log or just individually as they come in. Just either way, it's just going to take them and render them. For replay or casual simulation, that's kind of what I'm doing. And I'm still trying to decide how I'm doing replay, because that means I have to basically store every frame. So that's going to be kind of a nuisance. What is the best way to show a replay? Do I have to store every frame of the game? Or Starting each frame, record the key events and state changes that occurred during the play. These could include player positions and orientations at significant moments, ball positions, velocity, and interactions, game events, passes, tackles, goals, or fouls. Timing of each event, timestamps or frame numbers. Advantages: significantly reduces the data size, allows for flexibility in rendering the replay. So I kind of get it, because Unity is supposed to be able to smooth out between frames, so you could just, let's say, here and here and here and here. It probably won't look as smooth, but does it need to show every frame? I mean, there are certain things that don't happen, right? Like say for example, a quarterback nobody's sacked him yet. Nobody's tackling him, and he hasn't thrown the ball. So there's no reason to do anything on that frame. That frame has nothing happened. But if something happens, as suddenly somebody breaks through, and that's a change, you might want to have that. I guess I can kind of see. Store game states at specific intervals, every 0.5 or 1 second, and use interpolation to reconstruct the frames in between. For instance, if you have the ball's position at T0, T1, interpolate its movement during the 1 second interval. Drastically reducing storage needs still enable smooth animation during playback. Linear interpolation, simple and fast, but may lack realism for complex movement. Spline interpolation creates smooth and realistic transitions, particularly for curved trajectories. Simulate replay using recorded inputs. Store the inputs or decisions that led to the game state instead of the state itself. During replay, resimulate the game using these inputs. Minimal storage requirements. Perfectly replicates the original game dynamics. Requires a simulation logic to be deterministic. Running the same inputs always produces the same results. Oh. Sensitive to game engine or physics changes over time. Yeah, well, I'm not going to... Okay, so that's not going to be an issue, because this game... replays are only going to be available until the next game is ran in a season. You don't run the replay. It's out the door. There's no going back and looking. I thought maybe of keeping the replay of like playoffs or championships for a little bit longer, like for maybe until the next season starts, or maybe even keep a championship game for as long as the league goes, or maybe allow players to keep teams or keep games as part of their the free-to-play options, or pay options. It's not something you have to have, but some people may want to keep a few more games, and you can buy X number of games to be kept. So if you ever want to have just like a really good game that you like, maybe you played with your buddies or something, and you want to be able to save those, maybe that's an option. Maybe I should write that down. Maybe you could run a season, and if you run a season and you want to go back and look at a game, it'll have all the data, and it'll just have a replay for you. You can keep a season's worth of data, and you can simulate the whole data, and then just go, oh, that one looked like a good game. Let's go see what happened in that one. And go pick your game. This one is not an actual feature. It's an identifier. It's a, wait, oh shoot, it's not a folder. Can I change it to a folder? Default task type. Nope, I cannot. That's dumb. So we gotta go back up here. Go here, go folder. Do that. Now we gotta go here and delete, delete, and then we're gonna go here, change its name to games save game replace. Purchase replay saves normal replays save for save only till next game. There is one thing. Now, if you play with your friends, obviously you can't like speed through a season, right? Your friends, you can simulate some games, but like say everybody has 3 days to play their game. And at the end of that time, everybody's games get simulated. But if you do play your game early, you won't be able to see the results of any other game until that day, until the last person who's a player, a human person, plays their game. I do like the game I was just looking at, Big Play Football. I don't know if when it says it's looking for a player, I don't know if it's looking for just somebody's deck to play against, which is one way of playing a simulation. You're just playing against that person's cards or that person's deck or setup. But that's only for like, that's how a single game would be played. You could just play anytime. You're just going to get some dude's deck and you're going to simulate against them. If you want a live sim, that's probably a little bit more, which is going to be a feature too, but that's later. Live sims where you actually go up against another person who's picking their plays at the same time you are, those are going to be a thing. But that's just going to take a little longer because it's the interactivity that you gotta be prepared for. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots. Okay, so let's go ahead. I got that's definitely one I think I like. I also think, oh, this is these are just a list, so I'm not really too worried about the terminology because really I'm just defining the options. I'm trying to think of features that other games have that I want in here or I don't want. But a lot of them I think of, a lot of the other games I think of are running so there's game mode customization, which I thought I put, wait, game mode customization is essentially the single season, all these mode things. And that's kind of like, oh, so then I can just say game mode customization. So then I don't have to do a lot of these things. I just need to have the individual features all for league mode in general, and then game mode will let you filter out what league mode options you want. So I think I can get rid of, so we're gonna have I'm gonna go here, say we're gonna have career, career, franchise, season. And that one is actually going to be renamed. We're going to call that, oops, dang it. Rename, oh, come on, rename. Feature. And then we're going to have here, option button to select. PBI, function, PBI. Filter options for league play. Filter options. Feature or career or franchise season, and it's supposed to be and rename custom. And then we have option button to select. And option menu select and filter options for league play. Function PDI save. Function PDI load. All of the above are things that need to be able to be done. So that means we probably are going to need a league microservice. Or a, what is it? Mode microservice? Game mode microservice? Oh, I'm tired. I'm not tired. I'm just yawning. I said I'm tired, but I'm really not. I feel fine. Just sometimes. Actually, I went to church last night, and I was like, I'm good. I'm sitting here. And I was like, whoa, okay. Apparently, I'm tired. I don't know. It's like I went late. I felt good. It was afternoon. I'd slept. I took a power nap earlier in the day. Of course, it was a long time before, but still, I felt pretty good. I was wide awake when I got there, and then all of a sudden, I just started, oh, I'm losing it. That was frustrating. I don't normally fall asleep in church because I usually prepare myself, so I don't. Prepare meaning I try to like do a quick 10-minute nap or 5-minute nap right before I leave, just because, you know, I sit and my eyes start to fog. It's on anything. I could sit here, if I'm sitting here just staring at the computer for too long and not doing something, I will start to, because my brain's like, do we really need to look at this anymore? I really want to. It happens when you work out every day. It's in the mornings. I kind of burn myself out sometimes, and then I'm like losing juice throughout the evening. Option button to select, filter options for league play, save, load. I guess that's it for now. I can call that good. Let's get back up here. These are things that I need to do. I'm still working on the play. I've got a play. I got a store that's actually running the playbook. What was the other thing I needed? I'm going to need game simulator. Oh, that's when I'm running playbook and user auth. All right, so I guess the game plan's already loading. So all I really need is my playbook to load in order for this stuff to trigger. And then I need my I'm getting ideas in my head. I'm getting ideas in my head. It's like, my brain is visualizing things happening on the field that might be cheap and fairly easy to do. So I'm thinking maybe, because like I said, I have a problem with my football being a thing. You know, it looks okay, but it's not enough. I want more graphical stuff, and I'm trying to think of how my React app can do its plays to give you a little bit more of what's going on, you know, in the visuals. Yeah, I think I have an idea how I want that to work. I'm thinking I need some more images on my screen, but All right, so I got to add some stuff on this one. That's the coaching profile. I need to add new list. We're going to call it feature playbook. Select plays. Plays for playbook. Oops. Show number of situations favored. Function PBI number of usage. Function PBI number of average yards. Function PBI, because these are all things that need some calculation and some UI for them. Show number of situations favored in, number of usages, average yards. Number of plays with lost yards. Function PBI results against defensive average yards against defensive play types. Now, play types on defense are multiple. So if you have a zone blitz and you have a zone man, or you just have a general zone, all three of those are zone. One of them's a man, one of them's a blitz. You could have just a man defense, which is just everybody lines up on somebody and covers them, which is just straight up man to man. A zone man defense would be like all your linebackers and your safeties are running zone, but your cornerbacks are on individually on man-to-man. So it's like you're doing both. It's rare you can do all three because you really don't have a lot, but you could do a man blitz, where you got a lot of linebackers that go in and everybody else is doing a man-to-man, or you can do any combination of things. But some of these play types would show up on multiple. So if you lost 5 yards and it was both times it was against a zone blitz, that's its own type, so it's only going to show up one time. It's going to show up under zone blitz. It's not going to show up under blitz, and it's not going to show up under zone, but it'll show up under zone blitz. It's a totally different thing. You got different kinds of pressure, and still, you can look at it and go, is a zone. But if you're just going up against zone defenses, you don't know the specific plays, because there could be zone blitzes that have both. You could have some that have, you know, different setups, different blitzers, different things. You don't know who, what, you know. So and it's also kind of a tough one to go by, because unless your thing is losing yards every time it runs against different teams, it's kind of tough. You know, if you have a play that's only been run in one game, well, it could just be that you played the wrong team. Maybe they had a really good linebacker and you kept running right into him. But maybe it's done great every other game because nobody else has a really good linebacker there and they couldn't get you. Or maybe you got a better running back. So it's a little tricky. You got to watch how your defense does things and see how well it does. Maybe different kinds of defenses, that linebacker's not there and you are able to do more. You just got to kind of guess what it does. But I think a fair amount of stats on a play is pretty important. Function PBI. Create limited access. Thing is, I want my plays to be cards that you can get. And as such, if I make create play, I want to have a create play UI just so that I can create a play. But I think I want my plays to be cards, and if that is what they are, then I can't really give a create play option, right? I mean, I guess I could if you want to build one that's not like one of the others. And the problem is, too, if it's going to break the play comparisons. If you create one that says it's a blitz, but you don't do any blitzing in it, so I'd have to have all kinds of restrictions to make sure that that the play is genuinely qualified to be that type, which could make it kind of complicated, right? So, because you can't like say it's a man coverage and then blitz everybody, and then everybody's plays get screwed up because you created this game thing and all the plays that say, oh, well, against man coverage, it was getting stomped. But it really wasn't. It was getting stomped by blitzes that weren't recorded as a blitz. Maybe the name is defined by how you set up your players. Maybe that's a thing. So you can't actually name the play. Or you can call it a base name, but it'll still get categorized by what it is. So maybe you can't set the play type, but you can set the play name. That don't matter. Maybe that's the thing. Huh. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go eat some dinner. I will probably be back either on my own or